What if the gods declared war? Not just in the stories passed from fire-lit lips or carved into temple walls, but in a realm unbound by time. Imagine it. Olympus shakes. Valhalla readies its warriors. The Nile darkens under celestial thunder. Titans of flame, sky, and abyss locked in an eternal collision. Not for conquest, but for remembrance. For the echo of power that once ruled hearts, skies, and silence. Some gave breath to the universe, others unmade it with a whisper. There are gods who bled starlight and those who swallowed suns. But who among them was the strongest? Whose fire burned most pure? Who embodied creation so fiercely it became indistinguishable from destruction? And who lurked at the edge of it all, chaos incarnate, laughing at the order we cling to? This countdown isn't about popularity, it's about presence. We're measuring divinity not by worshippers alone, but by weight, the mythic gravity they exerted on history and the human soul. Power, impact, cosmic alignment, reverence through the ages. These gods didn't just rule, they altered what it meant to be alive. And yes, there will be surprises. One deity, so often forgotten, so rarely honored, rises higher than gods, etched into every pop culture shrine. Their myth? A quiet storm. Their dominion? Boundless. They are coming, and they will shake your view of divine supremacy. Before we summon them one by one, I ask you not merely to watch, but to feel. Let these names reach deeper than your ears. Let them unsettle something ancient inside you. Ask yourself not who ruled the heavens, but who still rules your dreams. Who whispers in your moments of rage, of clarity, of surrender. Subscribe, not as a click, but as a covenant. Like this video, not for metrics, but as a sacred act, a digital offering to stories older than nations. And if one of these gods speaks your name in the silence, share it. Let someone else remember. Let someone else awaken. Now, let the veil lift. Let the gods rise. Let the countdown begin. We begin at the edges, the shadows of myth where forgotten gods still breathe. These are not the names sung by blockbuster films or sewn into school books. They belong to the world's forgotten corners, lands whose winds once carried chants for deities as powerful as any Olympian. At number 10, we travel to the high Andes, where the Incan god Viracocha rises from the waters of pre-existence. Viracocha is the great creator god of the Inca. According to legend, he emerged from Lake Titicaca during a time of darkness. With a staff in hand and light in his voice, he formed the sun, moon, stars, and mankind. Yet he is not just a giver, he is a judge. When his first creation disobeyed him, he destroyed them with a flood and began again. Viracocha's power lies not in dominance, but in the quiet magnitude of reshaping worlds. His name means sea of fat, a poetic nod to abundance and the unknowable. Unlike gods of war who roar, Viracocha whispers change into being. He traveled the lands in disguise, humble, observing, teaching. He was a god who walked with his people, not above them. Yet his silence held weight. The myths say even the mountains bowed to his presence. In a pantheon of stars and serpents, he stood apart as a figure of dignity and paradox, creator and destroyer, light bringer and flood bearer. His legacy survives in stone temples and the memory of rains. At number 9, we descend into the rich spiritual tapestry of the Yoruba people of West Africa, where Olorin reigns, not with thunder, but with essence. Olorin is the Sky Father, the source of all energy, the divine spark behind all orishas. He does not interfere, he empowers. While other deities govern love, war, harvest, and storm, Olorin simply is, a presence too vast to be confined to action. According to Yoruba cosmology, Olorun was responsible for granting the breath of life. Without him, even the gods could not create. He is the unseen architect, the divine yes behind every act of existence. Unlike Zeus or Thor, he wields no weapon, tells no tales of conquest. His power is pure sovereignty. He exists not in temples, but in air and spirit, woven into the sky itself. What sets Olorun apart is how his omnipotence is paired with restraint. He embodies a power so complete that it has nothing to prove. While lesser gods fight for worship, Olorun watches, eternal and unshaken. His inclusion here is not based on fear or mythic drama, but on presence, the kind that lives in the silence before the storm, the breath before creation. He is the heartbeat of a people's cosmology, eternal and untouched. Now, at number 8, we travel to the Philippines, where the Bisayan god Kaptan rules the sky with the majesty of a forgotten titan. Kaptan is the supreme deity of the Visayan pantheon, a god of the heavens, the keeper of lightning, and the cosmic force of balance. His myth begins with duality. He ruled the sky, while Magwayan ruled the sea. Together, they created life. From a quarrel with Magwayan's son came humanity, born of conflict and compromise. Kaptan's wrath scorched the earth, and his forgiveness seeded its rebirth. His power is elemental, fierce, yet bound by justice. He is no mere sky god. He is the storm and the stillness after. His image remains in thunderclaps over rice fields and in the trembling hush of mountain air. Kaptan is a relic of a mythology disrupted. His temples were replaced, his name demonized by colonial conquest. But in whispers and weather he endures. His story deserves a place here not only for his role in creation, but for the resistance of his myth. To remember Kaptan is to honor the gods that history tried to erase. His divine force doesn't just stretch across islands, it stretches across time, refusing to be silenced. These three gods, Viracocha, Olorun, and Kaptan, are not household names, but they represent something profound, the omnipresent power of the forgotten. They are the gods of balance, breath, and beginnings. Their myths may lie in shadows, but their influence still stirs the wind, the stars, and the soul. They remind us that true power doesn't always demand the spotlight. Sometimes it dwells in mystery, in the silence between lightning and thunder, in the breath that came before the word, in the gods who never asked for devotion, only remembrance. Now that the quiet kings have spoken, we turn toward the makers and molders, the ones who forged existence from nothing. The founders and forgers await. Now we turn to the architects of all that is, the founders and forgers. These are the gods who didn't conquer chaos with violence, but shaped it into something livable, breathable, meaningful. In their hands, the rawness of existence was molded into symmetry, rhythm, law. They are the divine engineers, the ones who speak through rivers that return, stars that move in patterns, and breath that enters, then leaves. Their power isn't in domination, it's in design. At number 7, we meet Ptah of ancient Egypt. Ptah is not loud, not wrathful. He is the architect of existence, the god who imagined the world before shaping it. In the Memphite theology, he creates with heart and tongue. He conceives in thought, then brings it into being through speech. He does not swing a sword. He simply speaks and the universe answers. This isn't magic, it's principle, divine design flowing from inner vision. Ptah's influence stretches beyond temples and cities. He is the patron of artisans, architects, and all who craft with care. His presence lives in the balance of stone columns, the geometry of pyramids, the artistry of life itself. To worship Ptah was to honor the act of creation, not as chaos subdued, but as harmony awakened. In his silence, there is structure. In his stillness, intention, he is often shown wrapped like a mummy, holding the Waz scepter, Ankh, and Dued pillar, symbols of power, life, and stability. In this trinity, we see the blueprint of divine order. Ptah doesn't tear down to build. He imagines, aligns, manifests. While other gods bring change through storms, Ptah gives the world its underlying logic. He is the reason gravity holds and time repeats. His power lies not in fear, but in form. From the Nile we journey east to the shimmering infinity of Shinto myth, where Izanagi stands as the god who shaped Japan itself. Alongside his consort Izanami, Izanagi stirred the chaotic ocean with a jeweled spear. From the droplets that fell, land was born. He is not just a father of gods. He is a world shaper, coaxing form from the formless. With every stroke of that spear, he defined boundary, texture, and land. But his story doesn't stop at creation. When Izanami dies during childbirth, Izanagi descends into Yomi, the land of the dead, to retrieve her. What he finds is decay, a truth too deep for return. He flees in horror, and from the purification of his body after that journey, new gods are born. Amaterasu, goddess of the sun, Tsukuyomi, the moon, and Susanoo, the storm. Through sorrow, he births light. Izanagi's myth holds not just creation, but balance, how grief and death are not ends, but transitions. He is the architect of separation, light from dark, life from death, sky from sea. Every world must begin with parting, and in his retreat from the underworld, we learn that order is a choice, not a given. Izanagi's strength lies in his ability to endure loss and still bring forth radiance. At number 5, we enter the Nordic realm, where Bor and Besla gave birth to Odin, but it was Odin and his brothers Vili and Ve who forged the world from the slain body of the primordial giant Ymir. These brothers didn't inherit a kingdom, they carved one out of chaos. They killed Ymir and shaped his corpse into the world. Flesh became earth, blood became oceans, bones became mountains, and his skull became the sky. Odin, in particular, embodies the paradox of knowledge and power. As the All-Father, he is not only king of gods, but a seeker of wisdom. He sacrificed an eye to drink from Mimir's well. He hung himself on Yggdrasil, the world tree, pierced by a spear for 9 nights, to learn the secrets of runes. His path to order is paved with sacrifice, curiosity, and pain. What Odin creates is not just a world, but a framework, a system of meaning, memory, and fate. The 9 realms, connected by the world tree, reflect a universe that breathes as one. He does not rule through fear alone, but through foresight. Odin's wisdom is jagged, earned, and prophetic. In him, we see that creation isn't gentle. It's a negotiation with destiny itself. These 3 gods, Ptah, Izanagi, and Odin, represent different cultures but share a sacred role. They bring shape to the shapeless. They form meaning from void. They are not builders in the mundane sense. They are reality's engineers whose thoughts became soil, sky, and story. Through design, sacrifice, and separation, they forged the worlds we now inhabit. They remind us that power is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers in the mathematics of the cosmos, in the pain of letting go, in the silent decisions that define everything that follows. These are the founders and forgers, and without them, the war of gods would have no battleground to begin with. Now we enter the dark core of the divine, the realm of chaos, destruction, and furious rebirth. These gods don't dwell in serenity. They tear open the skies, break the cycles, unravel what was, so that something new might emerge. Their hands are stained with fire. Their voices echo through plagues and storms. Yet in the wreckage they leave behind, wisdom blooms like ash-fed roses. At number 4, we confront Kali, the dark goddess of time, change, and annihilation from Hindu mythology. She is not evil, she is essential. With her wild hair, lolling tongue, and necklace of skulls, she dances on the corpse of ignorance. Her destruction is not random, it is holy. Kali devours ego. She unthreads illusion. She kills not out of cruelty, but to liberate. In the myth of Raktabija, a demon who multiplied with every drop of spilled blood, none could defeat him. Kali emerged, her thirst divine, drinking every drop before it touched the ground. She became chaos in motion, fierce, unrelenting, terrifying. But within that terror was salvation. She is the remover of impurities, the sword that severs attachment. Worshipped in fear and awe, Kali is the chaos that heals through fire. Descending deeper into cosmic night, we meet number 3, Tezcatlipoca, the smoking mirror of Aztec mythology, god of sorcery, war, night, and transformation. Tezcatlipoca is a force of shifting reality. He was both creator and destroyer, friend and rival to Quetzalcoatl. In the eternal cycle of 5 suns, it was Tezcatlipoca who helped build the world and later shattered it. He appears in obsidian mirrors reflecting not who you are, but what you refuse to see. His chaos is personal. He exposes the lies you wear as identity. In one legend, he sacrifices his foot to become the sky crocodile Chipactli, whose body became the earth. In another, he casts the world into darkness. Tezcatlipoca does not care for comfort. He tears illusion away with jaguar claws. His destruction isn't the end. It's the challenge, the test, the mirror you cannot avoid. And now, at number 2, we stand before the oldest chaos, Tiamat, the primordial serpent goddess of Babylon. She is the ocean that surged before land. In the Enuma Elish, she births the first generation of gods, only to rise in fury when they betray her. Clothed in storms, birthing monsters, she is the mother of all and the wrath of all. When her children, led by Marduk, rebel, she becomes a dragon of vengeance. But she is more than a villain. She is cosmic balance torn apart. Her body becomes the sky and earth after Marduk slays her, showing that even in death, she shapes the world. Tiamat is not evil. She is inevitability. She is what comes when we push too far against the natural order. And in her defeat, we see not her end, but her transformation. These lords of chaos do not bring destruction for its own sake. Their myths are grim, yes, but within each tale lies a hidden truth. Only through collapse can we rebuild. Kali shows us the beauty beyond ego. Tezcatlipoca forces us to face what we are blind to. Tiamat teaches that even chaos, when broken, becomes the ground we walk upon. They burn what no longer serves. They tear down illusions with divine brutality. And for those willing to listen, not with ears but with spirit, they offer something no gentle god can: clarity through fire. We fear them because they move without mercy. But perhaps what we truly fear is what they reveal within us. The parts too wild, too ancient, too sacred to name. These gods are not warnings, they are invitations to rise from our ruins and meet them in the storm. Only one God remains, one who balances all these currents: power, creation, destruction, and stands alone, unshaken, at the top. Prepare to meet the supreme force. And now we arrive at the summit, where silence thunders and divinity breathes in totality. One God stands beyond them all, not for a crown or a throne, but because their essence is everything. Power, creation, chaos, they are not traits this deity possesses. They are what this deity is. No boundaries, no opposites, just the infinite cycle made flesh, made word, made God. Number 1 is Shiva, the great destroyer, the supreme creator, the silent witness. In Hindu cosmology, he is 1/3 of the Trimurti, yet in Shaivism, he is all, not merely a god, but a force beyond definition. He dances at the edge of time, the Nataraja, spinning galaxies into being while dissolving the illusions we mistake for permanence. His dance is the beginning, the middle, and the end. Shiva's power is not just in destruction, it is in detachment. He resides in cremation grounds, surrounded by ghosts, his third eye ever watchful. He is yogi and warrior, father and ascetic, storm and stillness. With his serpent coiled around his neck and Ganga flowing from his hair, he contains the contradictions of the cosmos. In him, chaos is not wild, it is sacred design. One myth speaks of his confrontation with the demon Andaka, who multiplied with every drop of his spilled blood. Shiva created Kali to drink the blood, and then consumed Andaka's cycle of deceit with a single strike. In another, he swallows the Halahala poison during the churning of the cosmic ocean, saving gods and demons alike. His blue throat, the mark of that act, becomes a symbol of sacrifice and cosmic responsibility. He is called Mahadeva, the great god, not for conquest, but because he does not need to conquer. Mountains kneel to him. Time folds around him. Even death serves him. He burns karma with his gaze, yet weeps for the loss of Sati, his beloved. His grief created chaos, yet also rebirth. He is not aloof. He feels the pulse of the universe. His silence speaks volumes. Unlike gods who rule through fear or favor, Shiva simply exists in full alignment with truth. He does not demand worship, he invites transcendence. In meditation, in madness, in destruction, in dance, he reveals paths to liberation. He is not bound by good or evil. He watches them dissolve like waves returning to the sea. In his presence, duality dies. Shiva tops this list not because he is the loudest or the most worshipped, but because he is the whole. He is the fire and the ashes, the rhythm and the stillness. He holds the mirror and shatters it. And when the universe breathes its final breath, it is Shiva who will remain, and it is Shiva who will begin again. This is the god who ends things not to punish, but to make room for what comes next. He is destruction as renewal. He is power without pride. He is creation born from surrender. He is the universe looking at itself and smiling. This is Shiva. And so the divine curtain falls. From shadowed peaks and burning sands to endless oceans and silent skies, we have called their names. Gods of power, chaos, and sacred design. Each one left a scar upon existence. Some raised worlds with song, others tore them down with screams. But all of them, in their own way, shaped the human soul. What does it mean to be a god? Is it to create, to destroy, to rule? Or perhaps it's simply to be remembered, to live in the stories we carry, the symbols we wear, the fears and hopes we whisper when no one is listening. These gods, whether forgotten or beloved, still walk among us, not in form, but in echo. Maybe you felt it. That chill when Tiamat rose from the sea, the weight of Shiva's stillness, the fire behind Kali's rage. These weren't just myths, they were mirrors, pulling you closer to the wild, unspoken truths inside you. Not to worship, but to recognize, to remember who we were before time got loud. Each of these deities showed us something essential. Viracocha whispered the value of second chances. Kali taught us to love what burns. Tezcatlipoca dared us to look at our true reflection. And Shiva reminded us that even endings hold beginnings. None of this was entertainment. This was a revival, a ritual, a remembering. So now the flame passes to you, not as a viewer, but as a bearer of myth. Which god stayed with you? Which name won't leave your skin? Was it the thunder, the silence, or the mirror that spoke your truth? Don't keep it inside. Speak it, share it, make it real again. Like this video if you felt something stir, some ancient thing waking behind your ribs. Subscribe not to follow, but to stay part of this unfolding. And if someone you love still believes the world is just atoms and rules, send them this. Let them feel the gods breathe, because the stories aren't over. They're just waiting for someone to speak them again.